10 seconds remaining.
Oh.
10 seconds remaining.
Gyrocopter!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Queen of Pain.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Earth Shaker.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Rubik!
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Crystal Maiden.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Drow Ranger.
Ten seconds remaining.
Lena.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Wind Ranger at your service.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Bounty hunter.
You know, there was a big question mark about CDEC, and what we would see out of this one is this is the first official matches that we're seeing after TI, and it seems like we're seeing the same old.
Yeah, pretty much. They had maybe some issues finishing the last game, but their draft is pretty much exactly what we saw 2 months ago. So
yeah.
It's not looking too good for Archon because of that. I feel like they saw last game, they're like, oh, there's a new patch, we don't care. We're going to pick the same good stuff that we know how to play, and we're going to execute it really well. And that's what they did. They played it really well. They made Archon look like not necessarily fools in the late game, but they had a huge lead and they commanded it, and maybe they missed a couple hook shots, but ultimately they definitely had some execution.
Yeah, ultimately they were always in control of that game. Archon, though, in game number 2, very different draft. We're seeing a lot more early aggression this time around. We may even see like a dual offlane. You and I were talking about the potential of the Earthshaker Queen of Pain. Do you think that's what Archon are going for here?
I think it's opportunity. I mean, if you have a bounty roaming, your tri-lane is a bit abstract. It's more like your bounty could be mid or off lane or in the safe lane. He's going to move all around the map, so it means that your tri-lane isn't going to be super static. I kind of felt like CDEC might just grab a really strong tri-lane support and then do a Gyro Rubik +1. Yeah. Because Archon was kind of forced into an Earthshaker support due to their picks, so I thought they could maybe exploit them there, but as it stands now, I think a dual offlane of Quap and Earthshaker is pretty good, because if bounty isn't there, you're talking about a Gyro near creeps and a Rubik support, and Rubik is not that survivable really. He could very easily get killed by a Fissure and a Dagger, and then just chase down very, very simply. So I think it's looking all right for Archon in terms of lane potential.
Yeah, and if they're able to kind of build from there, they have this lineup that is very damage. I mean, they've got so much physical damage out of this Drow Ranger with the early precision aura and marksmanship, and then you've got 3 different, or 2 other ranged heroes that are going to be able to get a lot of right clicks. I mean, Queen of Pain, you know, you focus on all the burst potential there, all that magic damage and pure damage from the Sonic Wave, but she does do a lot of right clicking in team fights, and obviously the same definitely applies to the Wind Ranger, which means we could have a lot of very early towers going down on the CDEC side of the map, just because if Archon do well in the laning phase, they can snowball from there. It looks like they are going to be putting at least from now, the Earthshakers are going to be sticking with Mu as the offlane Queen of Pain. Now, we did have 747 playing the Wind Ranger, which kind of assumed that was going to be mid with the Drone Ranger safe lane farming, but instead it looks like Jayo's going to be playing mid lane, and Whitebeard is probably going to be bouncing kind of back and forth between jungle as well as that mid, maybe even top lane.
Yeah, that'll be a bit interesting. I would say, I guess Drow Ranger's alright if he gets bounty roamed on. If he gets a point in Gust, he can push him really far away. Maybe that's the idea that they're aiming for. But his range is also very, very high at 625, so perhaps he can stay farther and farther away from these creeps. But Drow Ranger doesn't even have a tango here. Once the sentry comes down, instantly his sentry will die, but that's why he's got 2 whole sentries. They started the game with 2 sets of sentries on Archon's side, and that is why they're going to be protected. So there we go, J.O.
Oh, but that's the thing. Carter was able to kill the other counter wards, so J.O., he throws down 2 different sentries, and yeah, there are no more counter wards left for the Radiant side, but it doesn't matter. This bounty hunter is going to be able to roam into the middle lane completely unimpeded now.
That's really tough, and a very good read from Garter to recognize that. So it is an aggressive tri-lane from Archon, actually. I find this a bit weird that they didn't start Whitebeard in the jungle. I thought maybe they would sit on top, get fast level 2, have Aura with Frostbite, and then you can go and zone into Darkseer, but they're just going to leave it in a 1v1, and that's the reason that they put Wind Ranger top. It's because they felt comfortable doing an aggressive tri-lane.
So we'll see if, I mean, once again, Susie is left with essentially all the free farm in the world, in a way. I feel like Wind Ranger is a hero that is a bit more in his wheelhouse. Like seeing Suzy before, before he was on a big team like this, I felt like he was one of those mid laners that was able to just like win off his mechanical skill, and then he would snowball really, really heavily. And if he didn't get that early lead, that he would have a harder time. I feel like the Wind Ranger in the safe lane much better for him specifically than the Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, the hero that I definitely associate him with is more like Queen of Pain. But
Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin.
Yeah, like it's actually semi-carry kind of heroes. He played a very gank-heavy hero last game with Nyx Assassin, and his performance didn't quite end up being amazing. So I think he's going to be a lot more confident on a hero like Wind Ranger, especially in a lane where there's very, very low chance that he's going to die, and very low chance that he'll get ganked as well. The rest of CDEC is very likely going to be in other lanes.
Oh, Fluff, he tried to go for it. Now he's in big time trouble as he still has the telekinesis to be able to pull him back, and he's dead. He's just going to be right-click down unless Whitebeard can stop this one, and Fluff goes for the deny on the Roshan. It's going to take 2 different hits from Roche, but he will be able to get it. And CDEC throw a lot for that one. Whitebeard now going to be caught by Aggressive. Will be able to get a lot of that damage out with the Rocket Barrage, but Moo helps soak up a lot of that damage and make sure Whitebeard does survive. No first blood just yet.
That kind of costs him a lot. Another Fissure now on Aggressive, down to 100 HP.
And Moo may make the commitment here. It's going to be dangerous, but he does have another Blink Shadow Strike. He's actually going to go for Q instead. Fluff has another one, but the Rocket Barrage is going to tear apart Moo, and the turnaround from CDEC. They're going to lose Aggressive off of this one, as well as the Fissure goes down on Q. They've got a kill on him, so yes, they give up first blood, but a double kill is a turnaround for Whitebeard.
I think that's actually great for Archon here. Yeah, that's their core that died on Queen of Pain, but those extra levels going to Whitebeard gets him a really fast level 3. And now they have full HP and tons of mana kicking out. It's going to help out Earthshaker a lot. It's going to help out the Wind Ranger a ton in the top lane. He can power shot and wind run more. And Drow Ranger doesn't really care at all. But yeah, the other lanes are going to be really happy with this fast Arcane Aura level, and that means Aggressive's going to have a tough time. He's only got 3 tangos left.
You know, I feel like it would have been perfect for Archon if only the first blood didn't go to the Gyrocopter. If it went to one of the other supports on CDEC, I think they would have been so happy. But putting pressure on Aggressive does seem to work out so far for Archon. Let's take a look at some of our other lanes. The middle lane right now, 7-4 for Jayo up against this Lina, 20-12. Obviously a huge creep discrepancy, but that's a large part of the bounty hunter, right?
Yeah, he did get pressured a lot early, and Jayo's going for the full last hitting build and doesn't naturally have 2 skills that can grab him last hits and while harassing. So it's a little bit tough for Jayo. He's probably going to go the more sacrificial Drow build, where you build a lot of agility items, maybe Wraith Bands and things like that. We may not see him go for a semi-carry build, and if that's the case, he's going to be a bit weak at the end of the game. But hopefully, for his advantage, he can power level basically Wind Ranger, as well as allow Queen of Pain to really dominate her lane.
Now, second in CS right now is the top lane for Archon, and that would be the Wind Ranger, obviously, with the Drow Ranger aura. It helps out quite a bit.
Oh, they can kill Aggressive here.
Yeah, they're going to run him down, looks like. Yeah, a couple of right clicks, they'll be able to finish him off. There's no support whatsoever, and Jayo may see that as a tip-off of what's happening in this middle lane. Fluff and Stuff's going to come forward with what? All right, that definitely wasn't the Fissure. Now they're going to have the opportunity to go on Jayo still. Light Strike Array does miss, and Jayo's actually staying ahead. Garter gets the right click, though. And now maybe they're going to be able to catch Garter. They do have a counter ward, but they don't have Fissure just yet, so.
I have no idea how you would Fissure behind you. I'm very confused by that, but
man, he managed to get the kill. The Frostbite is there on Shiki right underneath the tier 1 tower. Unfortunately, Whitebeard doesn't have enough mana for the extra bit of damage, and Garter's now going to come in from behind with a Janata hit, slowing down Whitebeard. He's playing around the tower as best he possibly can. He's only got 3 magic stick charges, but now a TP in, 2 TPs in, and they're going to try and take advantage of this one with a Fissure. Whitebeard slows him down even further, 43 HP, 44, he gets it! Whitebeard on a dominating streak in this game 2. In 5 minutes already, and Moo, he'll finish off Q as well.
I can't believe he has so many kills. Garter might go for him. They're going to trade hits. It's going to need a second, third hit maybe. They get him! Whitebeard! Oh my gosh.
Archon, 6-3 right now in the first 5 minutes. An insane amount of action, but Archon is coming out on top.
That was pretty incredible. Whitebeard, 3 levels and Frostbite right now. That's going to be a 7-second cooldown. He's easily going to be able to double Frostbite somebody during fights. Only downside is, her terrible starting int mana pool. But yeah, she has so many early levels. She's like a solo level. Like if she was in a solo lane, she'd be level 5 right now, pretty much. So this is so good for Crystal Lane. And the fast Tranquil boots, that's going to help a ton versus Bounty Hunter. And the weakest hero on Archon right now is definitely Crystal Maiden. I could very easily envision a game where Bounty gets ahead, pressures Crystal Maiden all the time. Instead, she's going to be be the aggressor. She can gank Gyrocopter like 2 or 3 times now. She has huge damage output. 250 damage every 6 seconds is a huge threat. 7 seconds to the enemy team.
Yeah, the roaming potential and even initiating power of the Crystal Maiden with that Tranquil Boots movement speed is going to be great for catching out some of these heroes. They are kind of rotating around with Gardner. They found the illusion of the Earthshaker, but that's not the kill they were really looking for. Earthshaker is actually still sitting in the middle lane with Whitebeard, helping to protect that mid carry. Meanwhile, 747, he obviously saw those heroes inside the jungle, so he's probably going to be playing a bit passively, but he's got 2 levels of win run. He's not too scared. If they want to dive the tower, so be it.
And 10 charges of stick as well. That's a huge amount of survivability. So he heals to full just in case he gets dived in a moment here. And on the rest of the map, Archon continues to pressure. And Gyro really hasn't gotten much this game. 20 CS for him and 2 deaths now. Just a Basilius and 3 levels of Rocket Barrage. So Call-In will be a huge threat if Archon does end up diving here in a second. But I don't even think he's going to be able to survive the burst. It's basically going to be like Nova, Fissure, Frostbite, and a Queen ulti. And he's just dead if he does end up showing here. So this is very, very dangerous here on the bot lane.
A lot of really aggressive vision out from Archon. And I think they may have an idea what's happening. I mean, CDEC, there hasn't been a Lina mid in quite some time, and they are going for the smoke rotation out. If he gets the telekinesis, it's a kill. Maybe. There is the interrupt of Fluff. He managed to get the 2-man Fissure. Maybe a turnaround here. They're going to go for Q still. Light Strike Array does land on Moon with Laguna Blade. They actually do take him out, but call down. They're going to catch Whitebeard as well. That'll be a secondary kill. Archon, I think, maybe just overestimated their power. As I feel like they kind of knew what was about to happen. I mean, you could see with the way that Fluff and stuff was setting up, and they still try to fight even after that 2-man Fissure, but the trade-off certainly not worth it.
That damage on Quap was just a little too much. He also has the Gloves of Haste. You can maybe criticize him not having a Belt of Giant Strength, but I don't think 100 HP was going to make a difference when that Laguna Blade hit him. He basically had about 200 left and he just died. So nice little rotation there by CDEC. That helps their Gyrocopter a lot. He's going to take a Fissure. There's the Quap ulti and immediately turning around. Moo comes back and it's like, I will take another kill, thank you.
Yeah, Caster's Curse. It's going to go okay for aggressive now. Oh, never mind. Gets ganked up once again.
Real dead.
Yeah, so 5-8. And now the tread's complete for Moo. Now, where do you go with this? I think the supports on the side of Archon just start roaming around really heavily, right? Because they can afford to live the Queen of Pain alone in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think they definitely can. We'll see if they can catch Q here. He's quite fast, and it's only level 1 Nova. It's only 20% movement speed slow. It's not massive right now, so I feel like he just wants to buy early game items. I don't know if an Orchid is the right play, but he's already doing a lot of damage just with his right click, so maybe Orchid is just straightforward the best option. You could also maybe justify getting a BKB, because he already has huge damage from precision. He could just jump right in, pop BKB, and kill a couple choice heroes, such as Lina, maybe, Rubik, things like that. He could definitely blow his heroes up.
I could see that. I was about to say, like, BKB first on heroes like Queen of Pain is incredibly rare, right? And it's one of those items you don't want to get, but in this exact scenario, when you have so much right-click damage coming in from the Draw Ranger aura, I think that actually would make a lot of sense. But
it's only bad when they have physical damage, but they definitely don't right now. The only physical damage they really have is Gyro, but he's not really about right-click damage in the early game. It's pretty much all magic damage, so BKB is definitely an option that they could go for, but we'll see if they do it.
Double damage Garter heads up to the top lane. But I don't think Susie's going to be caught out by this. In fact, if anything, Archon may catch the Bounty Hunter. They do have just 2 counter wards right now. So if they run into him, throw down the counter ward and actually catch him with the Fissure, they can get this kill. Gardner reveals himself even better as he's going to go on 747 with a little bit of damage. Now he's going to be caught by this. Frostbite set out. We'll be able to catch him alongside the Shackle Shot. An easy turnaround kill for Archon.
Another kill going to Whitebeard. I don't think he deserved that one. The Frostbite damage just happened to tick over there, but a very big kill to have. Interesting skill build on 747 as well. Look at all these extra early Shackle levels. Doesn't give him as good of a nuke potential, but I kind of like this because the early levels of Shackle Shot, they don't quite give you enough to score a kill. And if you're against the Darkseer, the best thing that's probably going to score you damage is focus fire levels and a lot of lockdown. Lina kill in the bot lane, Moo gets blown up there, and no Yules yet for him. So they've been doing a really good job just setting up easy kills there on that hero that is normally just pressuring the heck out of Gyrocopter.
I kind of feel like Moo maybe should go for the Aghanim's build just for the extra stats, because we've seen so many times with the telekinesis setting into the Light Strike Array that he's just not going to have many opportunities to actually get, like if it's a Yules build and it's Lina alone, right, you just throw the Orchid onto Lina and you're good, but if he's being led on by telekinesis, that obviously changes things quite dramatically.
Yeah, and BKB could also solve that problem, but then very easily, Shiki could play around that. He says, Yules him, and he's like, go ahead, BKB. And then all of a sudden your BKB charges get really, really, really ineffective, and maybe if you can't pop BKB in time, then you're just simply...
Yeah, and if you don't do well with that BKB, you start falling behind and farm quite dramatically. And
he hasn't bought anything yet, unless it's on the courier. Sure. Oh man, he really actually doesn't have anything yet. He's been sitting on this Treads bottle, no talisman for a while. His CS is really not that high, but he will catch up a bit here.
All right, let's see if, once again, Archon really willing to use those early smoke ganks. And they are going to go into the jungle. The problem is going to be that Q is not only sitting in the trees, but he also stole Blink earlier. So they are going to have to lead with the Fissure and catch him with a Frostbite immediately. Yeah. But that's not going to happen. Q
it's
actually
something they
gets out.
definitely can get, though. The Frostbite is leveled up decently, so they have 2.5 seconds to score the kill. Whitebeard also has his ultimate. Not the best ultimate in the early game, but it's a much lower cooldown now, so usually you'll just throw it down if you've got the extra mana. There's the Focus Fire in the tower. Precision Aura really helping out with that.
Yeah, the pushing power with Wind Ranger and the Draw Ranger, especially once we start getting the Aghanim Scepter for 747, gonna be pretty out of control for Archon.
This is such good pushing. Bonus damage on Precision, Focus Fire in the tower, they can clear the creeps easily with Queen of Pain and instantly the tower dies. That's basically 2 heroes. That's all it takes. They don't even have to show their supports. They don't even know those supports are down here. Supports could be sitting behind mid, they could be sitting behind top. Archon's playing really well right now with their vision.
They are gonna see the Earthshaker rotating around from the side, and it looks like Gardner may try and take advantage of that one by looping his way through the trees. The Yule Scepter, Mass TP's coming out. They will be able to get the quick kill on the Fluff, but here's the turnaround as the Sonic Wave comes out. They've caught aggressive, and with Whitebeard dropping the ultimate, they'll get that kill as well. Laguna Blade, telekinesis back. Moo does go down, but Jo, he starts getting a lot of right-click damage onto Q. 747's going to go for the next one. Shackle Shot, unfortunately, didn't latch to anything, so Arlena will be able to get out. Meanwhile, the top lane was actually being pushed in by XZ. Gets a lot of damage onto that.
I don't even know if there are any tracks in that team fight or not. Gardner was sitting on the right side the whole time. He's got no HP missing, so he probably didn't dive the tower. Although they will be able to dive Jo now. Doing some damage to him. Great silence on Shiki is going to prevent anything from happening. And there's the Frostbite now. Gardner's going to go down. A big kill for Archon here in the mid lane.
Great reaction from Jo, having the presence of mind to use that one level of Gust to go for the Lina and then, in turn, focus down that bounty hunter during the time. Oh, Sheik is going to be caught silence on the wrong side of the Fissure, but do they have enough right-click damage? No. Yule Scepter gets laid out and Fluff and stuff can't really get on the other side of that one, but Moose with a blink and Echo Slam on a Q. He turns around with a Fissure onto 3 as well, and Fluff is actually going to drop quite low from that one, but doesn't look like anybody. Well, maybe aggressive. If he actually continues to run down, Fluff and stuff will be caught by that.
They could also grab the Rubik. If Rubik shows at all, he could blink Scream, but he's going to back off to play it safe.
And aggressive actually backed away from that cliff area at just the wrong time. Reveals both Moo and Fluff now, but it's a bit too late.
I just checked out Gyrocopter. I'm like, he has nothing, man.
Yeah.
Aquila Wand with a Belt of Giant Strength. So I guess he is going to go for the S and Y build. Like, Whitebeard is going to find him solo and actually be a huge threat to his HP. Like, this, he just burned a salve, pretty much. And
yeah, if aggressive sticks around with, 300 HP missing, very likely that he could be bursted down by someone like the Queen of Pain.
Yeah. No, we have Crystal Maiden already picking up a cloak. Obviously, we'll be going towards a Glimmer Cape, and that's a great item to have early on as Crystal Maiden, but there's a lot of good ways that CDEC can deal with it. They have a lot of AoE stuns that can hit him even if he's invisible. They have track for vision and stuff, but even with that said, Crystal Maiden's in a really good position right now, transitioning all this early gold into levels, ganks, pressure on the map, and that's helped. Like, I never saw Jo get ganked at all.
Shackle, 747 may just have enough damage with a Focus Fire, a little bit more. No, he's not going to make that commitment. Back to back, he's going to stop. Oh, 747. Did not expect that one, nor will Whitebeard. Or maybe he will. They actually have the counter ward. They're going to block in Gardner, and he's kind of trapped. The Frostbite makes sure that he does go down the freezing field. Just that extra bit of zoning power. Now the jump in by Moo. A little bit dangerous, though. Yule Scepter. And Moo slowed down enough. He's got another blink in 5 seconds, but it looks like everyone else will get out perfectly fine.
It's a pretty big mistake by Susie there. There's really not a lot of situations where he should die to a Darkseer. At the very least, he could have wind ran away with phase boots and gotten far away before he finally TP'd. But maybe he saw the team fight happening or something like that. Maybe he's like, oh, I'm not going to kill him. I need to go back and heal. I'm not sure, but that's a huge mistake to make. And you can't let that happen, honestly.
Yeah, certainly not. Moo shows himself in the top lane. It does have that point booster, so going to be working towards the Aghanims. Same with Shiki, second item.
It's too bad that it took him so long to get the HP, but he does have decent KDA at this point, and he's going to continue doing more and more damage.
Yeah.
Helm of the Dominator picked up. Really nice creep to have. The Hellbear Smasher increases attack speed by 15. And obviously a lot of HP. And if he gets ganked, he can have that 25% movement speed slow for 3 seconds. And the heroes that CDEC have are definitely very slowable. Obviously you have Darkseer Surge, but a lot of them are pretty squishy, so if they stay under tower too long, it's going to let Archon catch up with things like Fissures, Crystal Novas from range, potential Shackle shots. It's really scary for CDEC to dive at this point, because they're not that far, they're not that deep into this game. The net worth is even, and they're behind on kills, but I would have expected them to be farther ahead this game considering their picks. But the aggressive trialing that Archon executed in the early game was very, very strong.
Look at that great offensive ward from Archon in that middle lane. Actually spotted out this 5-man smoke, so you can see Archon are actually hiding around their tier 1 tower. They're going to go for a 5-man smoke of their own and rotate around. Looks like I think they're just trying to take the control, because they know eventually Archon, they have to rotate back through the river. And then at that point in time, they're going to run right into Archon with a high ground advantage.
Is that the reason? That's what it seems like. It's not like they're anticipating CDEC to be invading their own jungle, perhaps. But there's the hero showing they have a little bit of time left on their smoke. Not a whole long. Maybe Q is going to be the hero dead.
Q hit by the Fissure now and potentially bursted down. Gets the turnaround telekinesis and will actually be able to buy a lot of time when the power shot goes out as well. And no frostbite out from Whitebeard there. He seemed like very hesitant to make that kind of deep positional commitment for the kill.
It's a scary hero to initiate on.
Yeah.
It's just a Rubik. Like, the whole team could turn around. Maybe Lina could combo on somebody, blow them up. It could be a core, it could be the Queen of Pain. And then all of a sudden you're in a really bad position. And they also didn't have ward vision on the high ground over here. So they really had no idea where the rest of the team was, and they didn't want to get that close. It's just a patient play there. And they really didn't lose that much. All they lost was the opportunity that they got from having ward.
Eul Scepter on the Wind Ranger. They're going to catch 747. He just gets bursted down. The rest of Archon weren't really ready to go. They only just now got to the secret shop area, so no response. Susie just a bit too far forward.
How did he even get caught there? I mean, the Eul Scepter range just got nerfed. It's a typical attack and spell range now. Unless they were smoked and hiding on the side as he approached up, I don't see how he got caught there.
Maybe he just didn't expect that phase boots movement speed.
Yeah, it's possible. He also has Wind Run. He also has phase boots.
Yeah.
I feel like he just keeps making a couple major mistakes in these little engagements, and it prevents Archon from defending. Obviously, they didn't lose the tower, but they also can't be aggressive right now either. And it's still creeping up on gold experience, track gold, all those things. It's really making a big difference this game.
Right now, they're clearing through an ancient stack with Jayo, who does have level 11, so that you get that level 2 marksmanship coming into play. It's got 1,300 gold. Is this about the point where you start swapping out one of those Wraith Bands for a BKB? Or do you think he can
I don't
go
like it, but maybe. Yeah. I mean, one build that I've seen people go before is Scotty on Draw Ranger. It's if you go this kind of a skill build where you don't invest heavily into Frost Arrows, then you're not worrying about wasting that ability. You're just getting one Frost Arrow because he was fighting a lot early and the slow would have been nice. But if you get Scotty, it's basically the dream item on Draw Ranger. You get all of those agility points to give to your team. You also get a natural slow. You also solve your HP problem. It doesn't override with your Helm of Dominator orb, so it's just all around a really good item to get, but it may just be something like a BKB instead into a crit. But I feel like it's a decent build since he did sacrifice and go full stats early on. It's something that he can do here.
What about an SNY, like kind of the poor man Scotty?
Yeah, basically same thing. You can go SNY instead. That gives you a lot more mobility, which may be a good thing to have this game. His opponents don't have the best disables. Obviously, if he gets stunned from Lina, he's dead anyways. But if it isn't that, or if he doesn't burst it down in the first bit of time, SNY will definitely give him some value points in this game as Gyro chases him or he chases other people.
Yeah, and there's certainly potential being able to survive through the Lina combo alone, essentially, with that 1,300 HP. If we get a full SNY, you're talking about 1,500, 1,600 quite easily.
Yeah, and Scotty would be even better, but obviously a much more expensive item, and you don't get that mobility advantage, which won't offset track nearly enough. His opponents are going to be way faster than him, basically.
Right. They get a little bit of damage with the focus fire. But a lot of track, and this is going to be a big chase. Archon, got to be ready to defend. Q actually turned around. Oh, Invis actually picked up, and they'll get out with Jayo.
Yeah, he was going to be fine.
Tracked.
I thought, I mean, he was very slow. Same thing. Doesn't have SNY. His opponents have track. They probably could have caught up to him eventually, but the Fissure saved him. So nice play by Fluff there. Who's about halfway to his Blink Dagger. Once he gets that, things get even scarier for CDEC. They again have a lot of squishy heroes. Lina Yules doesn't do anything if you chain stun her for 4 seconds and the Quap shows up. So they have to be very, very careful when that Blink comes up on him. Anything new on Whitebeard? No Glimmer KP yet. Moo is not quite at his Ags, about 900 gold away. So Archon definitely waiting for some major items before they become really, really strong.
Yeah, especially with the gyrocopter, as set back as he is, he's not going to have that fast BKB. He's still going for the S&Y build, and that will just leave more opportunities for the Earthshaker to be very effective.
Yeah, he did get a helm though, so armor increase that'll help against Drow a little bit. Maybe he might stay alive a little bit longer versus heroes like Wind Ranger. So, and as well, it's aiming for the late game, and I think they're just kind of realizing that this game isn't going to end anytime soon for either parties unless there's some major teamfight throws, which I don't expect to happen. So, I think CDEC is just playing the long-term game. BKB wouldn't really be the best solution if they can initiate, so just going for the late game.
Alright, so the Ags, another 800 gold for the Queen of Pain. We also see the Ags finish up on the Wind Ranger. Jo does complete a Shadow Blade for this game, and he's actually going to be making the initiation. The smoke pops on Shiki. They don't know the Shadow Blade's here, but they will find Whitebeard. Can't actually get the quick kill on him, at least not just yet. Shackle shot onto Q. Great focus fire. Will be able to take him down. Two-man vacuum. Light Strike Ray lands on Fluff. He get off the Echo Slam. It'll be okay, but it doesn't. And he just gets bursted down. Jo now going to be the target of aggressive as Moo force back a little bit. They're going to get the Light Strike Array onto 747. But this is the opportunity now for them to turn on Shiki as best as possible. He's so damn fast. Jo will get away with the Shadow Blade away from the rocket of the gyrocopter, and a 2-for-2 exchange there. Two supports on the side of Archon for a support and an offlaner for CDEC.
I really don't think Archon was expecting to find the entire enemy team there. As soon as they saw them, they're like, do we go in?
Yeah, once you see that smoke popped from the Lina, you're just like, oh god, there's like 5 heroes here. Do I make the initiation?
It's a hero Jo was really scared to see. He was like, oh, it's a Rubik, maybe I'll silence him, kill him in like 5 hits or something. Yeah. But Lina has so many options. He can silence, then he'll get Yules, and then he gets killed, something like that. It was very dangerous for Jo to go in there. So the Shadow Blade may pay off very hard, but for now it's a little dangerous of an item pickup. Also doesn't transition his agility very much, but that's completely fine. Like, you're given 47 damage. Do you really need to hard sacrifice your item build for less impact? I feel like the Shadow Blade is maybe not the best idea because there's a bounty, but it gives you an item to play with to allow you to semi-carry. If you just go all in on stat builds, you're pretty much at the mercy of your team, and you're just completely trying to funnel damage to the rest of your teammates. And I don't think that's the right way to play Drow Ranger.
Yeah, in a certain way as well, if you're talking about CDEC maybe focusing on just pushing this game late game and focusing on efficiency of farming and such, that also means they're going to be a little bit more spread out, right? Yeah. Which offers opportunities for the Drow Ranger to be more of a playmaker and kind of setting the tempo of this game going into the mid-game.
Definitely something he can do. If he gets a BKB after this, I think it's definitely time. Because that fight could have been very, very easy for them, maybe, if they got BKB. I would like to see him get more levels of Gust as well. The silence is just too good against so many other heroes. Darkseer's not going to have any solution until he gets Guardian Greaves. Lina would be forced to Yules herself. There's just... Even like Rubik and Bounty Hunter, they're just so countered by being silenced. I don't know who is making... Oh, there's actually already a mech, a little bit of item build mistake maybe on Bounty. He also has a headdress. Could be a pipe, obviously, but I don't think it was his plan since he did also pick up a Force Staff.
No, I don't think so either. So perhaps just a bit of miscommunication. Archon. 4-man smoke from them while they lit Jo push out the top lane. They still have that tier 1 tower there, so he can actually get there in time, especially with his Shadow Blade for the initiation. They're going to find XC. Now that's a pretty good pickoff. Garter's actually going to come in from the side, immediately being silenced up, and Jo trying to catch him, but they actually opt not to chase too aggressively with only the 1 level of Frost Arrows, and that's really, you see the big downside of this kind of stat-focused build on Jo. He can't actually ensure great chasing.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal. There's been a lot of fights or a lot of little ganks and kills where a couple extra levels of Frost Arrows would absolutely guarantee to kill. The Fissure's not going to catch the Wildkin. This is not something they want to do, I don't think. If they can catch a hero, that'd be great. Fissure's going to be stolen.
No, that's going to be awkward with 747. They're just going to throw all their damage onto this Wind Ranger and burst him down. Laguna Blade, and Jo is also going to be caught. Shadow Blade. Oh, what a Sonic Wave! They can get in there with an Echo Slam. Fluff and stuff hits 3, but it's still not enough. Archon aren't able to make the commitment for the turnaround as the heal comes out from XZ and just completely offsets that Sonic Wave damage. Archon now are going to be giving up Rosha.
That was just too hard of an engagement. Yeah, Darkseer was dead, but you can't just run into Roche like that and expect things to go perfect for you. It looked really good right at the end there, but I'm sure that Archon basically retreated at that point. They said, retreat, retreat, and then boom, the big ulti comes through, the big fissure comes through. It looked really, really good, but Whitebeard wasn't in melee range, or he wasn't right on the high ground to provide an ulti. And unless, if they had that damage, yeah, maybe they would have gotten 4 heroes, but the opportunity was not super obvious there, and they weren't all entirely on the same page, and I don't blame them for that, because that very easily could have turned into 4 heroes dying if they all committed to it.
Man, CDEC, we didn't really talk about it, but obviously Archon had really great potential for taking Roshan, and CDEC saw that, and they were he was just spamming Helmet Dominator creeps into the Roshan pit. He threw a Golem at first, they killed that, then he threw a Troll, which didn't even make into the Roshan pit. Archon were just able to focus it down, and then that last one, the
Wildkin. How often do you see a Wildkin make a huge deal at 26 minutes?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, the tornado is actually really big, and I'm a carry, by the way. Like, it's amazing. The item is so much better.
Q. I mean, you got to give a shout out to him. His Rubik play for this series has been exemplary.
He steals a lot of good spells. Flat Cannon, Split Shot, Fissure, man. It is just...
Let's take a look again at this fight. I mean, you could see the Fissure setup was so big there, and the potential for the turnaround, but it's just like Fluff can't get there with a really great Echo Slam, and the rest of Archon just had to back up from there. So, as you could see, we're going to have CDEC now taking control of the map after a great team fight, and Roshan, obviously, they take away the Tier 2 tower in middle and top lane. Big gold boost for them. Archon are actually trying to get a pick off somewhere on the Dire side, but doesn't look like they're gonna find anything.
If Fluff had his Blink Dagger, they definitely would have won that fight. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That Echo looked so good, and he's like, I'm going in for it. He walks in slowly, and he's like, oh wait, they mech. Okay.
16 Whitebeard. Oh no, XZ! He saw that one coming. Will be able to catch Whitebeard. He just throws out the ultimate, but only lasts half a second.
That's rough. If he would have TP'd to base, that looked like a long TP to me. I didn't catch the whole thing, but felt like it was a bit long, and ends up going down. And still no Glimmer Cape. I feel like maybe he should have prioritized farming a little more this game. I know they've ganked a lot, but he's 9-3-5, and he doesn't yet have a Glimmer Cape, and I feel like it would have made a big difference in a couple fights. Like, how many times have we seen Wind Ranger being put in the air, and then immediately after she'll die? If you can Glimmer Cape, like, yeah, he's got an Ags now, so he's going to do pure damage with Laguna Blade, but if you can do before the Yules, for example, it will block a lot of that damage. The Light Strike Array, the Dragon Slave, whatever else allies are thrown out, it could save people.
Yeah, CDEC commits so much when they try and go for a bursting down one of these heroes like the Wind Ranger and the Queen of Pain. I mean, despite being intelligence, very mobile heroes, they actually have tanked up quite a bit. 1700 HP on the Wind Ranger, 1500 on the Queen of Pain. If you add that extra bit of magic resistance, and CDEC have committed so much to it, that very easily could be a turnaround. So I can see what you're saying. It's just, unfortunately, a bit too much ganking and not enough gold for a Crystal Maiden to finish up that Glimmer Cape, and now CDEC taking good control. They've already taken down the Tier 2s in middle and top, and they're going to finish things up by 5-manning the bottom lane.
Ooh, Susie's in trouble here. Doesn't have a TP. He showed on the bot lane. He hasn't even noticed his opponents yet, and now he sees them. There's the blink.
He's going to get Yule's Scepter, Light Strike Array. Doesn't look like there's going to be a save in time. Unfortunately, Shackle Shot doesn't launch anything, which means the Laguna Blade will help finish off the Wind Ranger. That means not only Tier 1 and Tier 2, but a track kill as well.
Yeah, their wards are not super useful at the moment. They only have the 2 mid, one behind the Tier 1 tower, by the way. Yeah, it's great to have it there if you're pushing, but they're on the defensive right now because CDEC has just been winning too many fights, so Archon needs to take a good engagement, and this is basically what they need. Fluff finishing up Blink Dagger, he's got it, but surely CDEC is going to anticipate this a bit.
Yeah, they can easily just back up and farm. The top lane's being pushed in. Oh, no, they're actually going to make a small push uphill right now. A couple of heroes have rotated out, though. They've shown the Darks here at the top lane, which means Archon definitely can go for the defense. They have a rather large ancient stack. Aggressive has been on the mark with every single one of those pulls.
That's a pretty good stack. It might be a little hard to kill. It's got 2 black dragons, so it's got extra armor and stuff like that. Jaro's not, like, he can kill ancients, but he's not amazing at ancients like he used to be. There's a lot of heroes that are far better than him. He's going to shred them all down to about, what, 40%, the small ones at least, and now he's got to wait 15 seconds. This is going to take him a while, but it's still a lot of gold for sure.
Just max amount of efficiency, so the rest of CDEC can focus farming other parts. You got Shiki pushing out the middle lane right now. Blink Dagger, Aghanims, and Yule's Scepter with another 2,300 gold on the side.
So, looks like Bounty Hunter finished up Vladimir's offering, so maybe he did have plans with his headdress.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's the Guardian Greaves on Darkseer, so he doesn't have to worry about silence anymore. Not that there are any silences coming out of the Dire team. But
with the buff to Vlad's, and then just generally you've got a lot of physical damage on the side of Archon, so that armor buff, I could see how from the beginning.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he had that kind of planned out.
It basically counteracts the Drought Aura in some way. It'll block some of that damage after reduction, so kind of a cool option. And he has a lot of personal health regen from that. Vlad's gives him like 3, 4 staff is another 4, so it really makes up for the fact that he's not sitting on that mech that he would normally have. Bounty Hunter basically has to buy teamfight items because otherwise he just becomes too weak with all that gold. If he just has damage, maybe he can help kill one person, but that's not good enough. You need to help your team do well in the early team fights, and 4 staff is the solution for that.
BKB now complete for the gyrocopter after farming up that ancient stack.
He's caught up, man. He's the 2nd highest net worth in the game right now.
Yeah, 2,000 ahead of that the Drone Ranger.
His item build is paid off. He really got so much value from the Helm of the Dominator, honestly.
Yeah,
like, it's helping him farm a lot, but it was more like helping him know where his opponents are and not get his team gank because of it. I dare say I haven't seen better Helm of the Dominator usage from any player yet. And
yeah,
it's really showing like you can do a lot with that. You're basically a mini Chen just with one 2,000 gold item.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's missed any of his stacks, and again, using it to be able to take out that Roshan. Oh, Jayo's going to be caught. That's going to be another track kill. Just no opportunity for him to pop the BKB, and that's really where you start. Like, the BKB can become a very ineffective item when you're initiated on like that. The stats are rather minimal, and you can see that burst damage takes him down 17 to 18. CDEC start pushing uphill now.
Again, they're missing a lot of vision on the map. They've used the observer wards, I think. Yeah, it looks like they passed them to Fluff. Fluff hasn't really had an opportunity to put a lot of them down. They're hanging on Fluff, who will almost catch him. Sentry's down. They'll be able to kill that, no problem. But it's tough, man. They don't really have any map vision.
Oh, CD, look at that. Rubik managed to steal Precision Aura.
That is a steal. This guy actually does steal so many good spells.
I mean, how do you actually get that one? That's
it's based on his agility though, isn't it? And
yeah,
he's only got
yeah.
32, so it's not massive, but
no.
13 damage increase. Okay.
I mean, considering the fact that you can pop it before going into a fight and then steal something else.
I guess that's cool. It's just so little damage, 13 damage.
Yeah.
The coolest part is I guess you can make your creeps push a little bit faster. It's basically like he is of Vlad's, honestly. It's not that great. If he had like more agility items, it'd be really cool, but he does not. All right, and really good ward vision as well left by CDEC now, so they know exactly where Archon is going to be farming. They have to farm his 5 because they're afraid of a team fight starting because they don't have ward vision. It just limits them so much. In the meantime, they're farming 2 different places on the map, 3 different places on the map, getting more and more farmed by the minute.
Where's that Helmet Dominator creep for aggressive?
Good.
Because I was actually looking at it, I was like, oh, they're gonna have the ancient stack to fall back on as well, but
he had a range creep last, I think, when he did the ancients. It might have died. Well, he probably had it. Maybe had it tank some of the damage.
Maybe just hasn't replaced it yet.
Yeah, definitely possible. Oh, they have a gem on the ground, so Darkseer's gonna have that now. And Susie getting tracked here. Gonna be the most unsettling thing. Like how
Blink in, telekinesis, light strike array, follow up. Do they have the burst damage? Oh yeah, they certainly do with a good a bit to finish him off. And now they're going to try and catch anybody from Archon outside of the base. Looks like everyone will manage to escape, but still CDEC have taken away one of the primary damage dealers. And, whoa, Shiki jumps forward there, but chose not to go for Jayo, just, I guess, because of the BKB.
Faster than the gust, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gusting me? I'll just turn around and run the other way. Man, what a tough game for Archon here. They just don't have the vision. He gets tracked, and 2 seconds later they kill him. He was probably like, oh, they're not killing me as soon as I get tracked, I'm fine. And boom, they jump on him. There's just not a lot they can do. The Blink Digger and Rubik really helping a lot. There's the lift on Jayo.
Is Shiki gonna follow that one up? They actually Frostbite and Q, Sonic Wave. They'll commit for the Rubik kill. But can they actually push out for more? Echo Slam onto 2. That's a great start with a Fisher onto 2 as well. They're gonna try and combo up these heroes, but still the vacuum wall turnaround. And now Aggressive's right in the front of everyone's face. He's gonna go for Jayo. That looks like the Shadow Blade will keep him alive. Moo just blinks straight ahead of that last shot from Shiki that finished him off. But still, CDEC now control this melee racks. Will be able to take it down despite a buyback from Whitebeard. These heroes just aren't ready to fight.
This is tough. Can they catch one? Nope. They kill all the illusions, I guess, but that's a melee barracks down and a lot of buybacks coming out of Archon. Not what they want. I'm sorry, just one. Just the Crystal Maidens. So yeah. They barely got alive with 2 carries, though. Both Jayo as well as Moo were inches away from dying, so that went a lot better for Archon than it could have, for sure.
Yeah, if they had their gem on the front line, like boom, Jayo's dead to the pursuit by Aggressive, and then obviously Moo just barely escaped from the last couple of right clicks from the Lina. The BKB is going to be finished up soon for Moo. But what other items BKB for the Wind Ranger? You still need damage, though.
I don't even know if it's the item now.
Yeah.
I feel like
maybe you just commit a bit more.
It's not going to do anything to keep him alive versus Lina.
Yeah.
She's still going to ult him for 60% of his HP.
And again, there's a problem with the blink-in telekinesis that sets up the Light Strike Array, where these BKBs just aren't playable at all! You just get bursted down, now the 3-man vacuum as well! Cleanup time for Aggressive! 747's just stuck there, and only Queen of Pain will make the escape.
Their reach is just so much better and their burst damage as well. It's one of the failings of Drow in the late game. Like, okay, maybe if you get a bunch of kills using Shadow Blade, it'll be effective, but we haven't seen the impact of Drow. Like, I feel like his itemization, he maybe could have used Helm of the Dominator, like we saw Aggressive use it. The Shadow Blade just really not accomplish much. You can't even initiate with it. Like, you're gonna silence, you can't slow somebody. I feel like maybe he went too heavily into stats. I'm not sure, but he hasn't gotten any value out of his skill points really in all of these team fights, and the burst damage is too high in CDEC. They're just continuously picking off the cores of Archon, and there's no rebuttal.
Yeah, I mean, they still have 9-second charges on both their BKBs, so a lot of times they just don't get the opportunity to pop them because the blink telekinesis initiation, and then the follow-up there. So Archon, they're only left with one lane of racks now, and CDEC have just brought in so many items. Octarine Core for the Lina, you've got a Lotus Orb now, jump in, Echo Slam on 2, this is 2 of the heroes they need to be able to burst down. They'll be able to get at least one, looks like the Lina, Eul Scepter, but she will come back down, or no, she actually blinked away just in time. Right click coming out now onto Q, but the Shackle Shot only latches onto creeps. Q will get out as well, what could have been just a beautiful pick off on 2 cores, and then you clean up some supports after that. Archon maybe could have made the comeback, but unfortunately it's just limited to only the aggressive gyrocopter.
And Q stole Fissure again. Like, he just doesn't stop stealing really good spells. It's amazing. But a double kill there would have been so good. It would have given them a chance. They still have a chance. They still have 1 barracks, but it's very dangerous. No new items on JO.
Yeah, 1 lane of racks, almost a 30,000 gold lead for CDEC.
Look at this bounty hunter, man. He's got so many items, but he has less than 1,000 HP. And this could be Susie dying again. Fissure start.
Again, the BKB, you just can't pop it, always. Q's initiating with some sort of blink stun. This time around, it was just the Fissure.
The only way they could stop that is vision, basically.
Yeah.
Or prediction.
And that's where the gem pickup on the Darkseer is just controlling all the vision on the map. Archon can never really get good defensive wards out.
So Roshan is going to be their victory here with another kill on a Wind Ranger. The fights are just so hard to start. Maybe Archon's draft is very limited on initiation, but I guess they had such a good early game. It was always Fissure into things.
Yeah.
But at this stage in the game, you can't just go off of a single Fissure. You basically need a blink on Earthshaker, and maybe that came a bit too late because their team fights went poor. Maybe they needed more advantage out of their early mid game to set up a good late game, something like that. Maybe Wind Ranger died too many times in some of those engagements, but it was tough. A lot of the fights were maybe taken in inadvisable areas where he would be separated from his team, and then the death is fast. Maybe they needed a more defensive support, perhaps. Who knows?
Butterfly completed for the gyrocopter, and with the push in through the middle lane, they're not going to wait for the top lane of creeps. They're just going to go straight for this tier 3 tower. Not giving Archon any room to breathe. This is going to be a do or die for the North American team.
Well, at least they killed the Helmet Dominator creep.
True.
Aggressive's going to be so hard to kill here. Tower goes down. This is pretty much their last chance. There's a Fissure going in.
2-man Fissure leading things off. Telekinesis, Light Strike Array. This time, 747 is able to go. Oh, but the Laguna play just takes him out. BKB or no BKB.
Oh, Whitebeard's ulti.
Damage cuts right through him. Wow, Whitebeard's going to be stopped by a 1-man vacuum. Moo is the only one left really fighting. A buyback now from JO as he comes in, but he's only got the BKB, and they're just being overwhelmed, and they know at Archon, things will finish off for CDEC on aggressive rampage.
A very rare game where Aggressive has a very rough early game, but he brings it back.
Yeah.
9-5 and 14. You can't even tell that he had a rough time in the early game. He was completely gimped, but I mean, Archon just didn't transition it well. The bounty made things too hard. They didn't get the Blink Dagger fast enough on the Earthshaker, and maybe we didn't see enough out of the Crystal Maiden. A lot of the heroes on Archon just didn't put in the work in the mid to late game there, and they ended up getting eliminated from ESL 1 New York 2015.
Now,